there's a trick about this. Because this is inclined. So you think you're like sitting, but you're not. So shall we stand? Because it's like we're like, you think, but then you're like, vagina. So I'm gonna put on my glasses, and we can talk.
All right.
All right. And we'll stand.
So I felt like the audience response tonight to Clown was really good. We talked a little bit about that at the bar while it was showing. But I felt like the audience really responded well and laughed and things. Were these films first received when you first started making them in the 90s? Like, where did you first show Clown?
The thing about this is this is like really has been a great year because the resurrection of these Super 8 sound films. Many of you, of course, know, when we used to have the luxury of working with Super 8 sound. Remember those days? And then all of a sudden, immediately, it just died, and it was like the vocal cords of the Super 8 filmmaker just was severed overnight. And the GS1200, which projector, any of us who could have one or use one, became obsolete and a paperweight, and everything changed. So, we've been doing this for a while, but Super 8 sound wasn't just good for me, but it was like, you think of Solovine, and you think of some of my favorite bodies of work of his is like, from when he was doing Sync Sound, Super 8, and
Were you a student? You were a student of Saul's one time, is that right?
Well, we're Boston people,
right?
And of course, I was mass art, and I took him.
Yeah.
I took him. But I was a sculpture student in Sim, and then we were just all family. So eventually, I got to study with Mark Lepore, and if I could have been there forever, I would have studied with Erica Beckman, and it was like everybody, there was, I think back and I'm like, there were so many other studio people in so many fields, but because I love Massachusetts, Mass Art, first public art school in the United States, and Solovine is our Stan Brakhage. He's a beautiful 72-year-old guy who's in better shape than anyone. He rides bikes, and I love him. But yes, I got to study with him. I got to study with Mark and Dana Moser, and so.
I wanted to throw in just as a brief aside that I was really happy that this is the first year that Saul screened at Chicago Underground too. I wish that he couldn't be. Really wish he could have been here too.
He's in Barcelona. Now he's like, people thought he was dead, but he was like, people. I was like, all of a sudden I've got all these because he's like, when he talks, talks with the handrails, because he's like. He's making film so long that he can't even talk with handrails in front of him. He's like, it's like, so how you doing? He's like, I'm going to the thing was the other day that fucked things up. But anyway, I'm going to Barcelona, and I'm going to try not to be angry. And I'm like, that's a good thing, Saul. But I love him to death. I love Saul. He wasn't so much of a studio teacher when I took him, but my goodness, he turned me on to Craig Cran and kind of anger, and for crying out loud, for like a 19-year-old boy to like be introduced to like, you know, un chanteur for the first time, who is like, you know, gay but has a girlfriend, like, I'm bisexual, I'm asexual, it's the 80s. I was like, oh my God. You know, so, you know, we think about like studio classes and physical efforts and manipulations and stuff like this, but Saul was, and always will be, you know, someone who changed everybody's lives. So, you know, that's the way that goes. So what's the next question? Anyway, I'm so happy to have these restorations, because the first time we screened them was a sort of practice run in September. Because, you know, I've been so lucky that Anthology Film Archives in New York, you know, worked with me to, you know, it was like Super 8, anything older than 1995, and you know, when you have all this, you know, Super 8 material that, you know, is so fragile, you know, it gets more fragile, and the thing is that it gets not showable. You know, I know Michelle's here, Michelle Putz, but you know, she screened probably, you know, decade ago, but literally, I just want to tell you this. This is how important the screening is. I'm very proud of it, and I'm proud of the people who worked on it. I'm not alone here. I'm not alone. I make the films, but I'm so I just got a little. I left a couple times because it wasn't about the film so much, but I'm thinking, you know, I have so many great friends who work with me, you know, and I've got so many people, you know, I hope we all get that. And we all like each other. We're all like this. The film world is so tiny, and we respect each other so much. But I didn't expect this. I thought, well, you know, I've made a lot of films. I want to continue making films. I'll make original films. I can't print them anymore. But so many people. It's not just me. People have helped me so much. And. When I was watching these films tonight, I'm like, they look gorgeous, they're archived, and these films weren't accessible. The only way you could see A was to rent it at Canyon on one single print that existed, because they on Super 8. It was an hour-long film, so it was the 2 30-minute reels, accompanied by a cassette tape. And Clown, I only had the original myself, and I was like, oh my goodness, it's, you know, I'm showing it, it's getting scratchy, it's getting snarly. All this stuff would be dead, but you know, luckily I have a support system, and we all need that. You know, not just from me, but to archive, you know, what we love. We love film, and we have to keep it alive, and I'm so grateful. So, I don't know, I can tell a joke if you want.